Okay, well, if you've downloaded the Disc Golf Handicap scoring system and you've unpacked it, then you should wind up with a USB DGHSS directory, and in there are a number of folders and files. And what you'll want to do is you'll want to double click or right click and open the Disc Golf Scores executable. And this is a built-in web server, and what it'll do is it'll launch Internet Explorer, and the Internet Explorer window opens up with the Disc Golf Handicap scoring system there. And it's got a little bit of a welcome and an introduction. And to get right to it, what we're going to do is we're going to click on Disc Golf Handicap scoring system, and it'll give you a set of 4 buttons. So the easiest way to start this is to take a look at the Show All Scores, and what this does is it'll display all the scores chronologically for each player that you've entered into your system, and we're presuming that will be your league. Your club scores and handicaps, that's customizable. You can change your club, and you can change your par, and you can change your course rating. Right now it's this system is looking at the last 5 rounds played, and somewhere on the screen I believe it tells you how it calculates that. Right down here, the handicap's the scoring average of the last 5 rounds minus the course rating times 80%. So each of these individuals played. If the player's name is in yellow, that means that they played for a bag tag the previous week. And the handicap shows what it's rounded from. If you hover over the average, it'll tell you the average of all scores to date. If you hover over the last score, this is the previous handicap and the last recorded score. So we have blank columns here, and the blank columns are used to record the scores out on the course. And what you do is you'll take the raw score, and then you'll add the handicap to it, and then that'll give you the net score, and then you can figure out which tag belongs to who. It also shows you the last recorded date that was played, and it'll show you who played in that date and what score that they achieved. Every column's sortable, so we can click on the column name right there and click again. It'll reverse sort. Handicap, sort, reverse sort, 2 clicks. Average, click once, sort, click twice, another sort. So each column's sortable, and each score tells you how much over or under par it was, what date it was recorded. So there's an awful lot of information, very little real estate. And what we also see on this page is we'll see there's a grid that you can use for new players. So if you go out on the course and somebody shows up and they want to join your league, you can add their name and the date and the raw score. Now, in order to actually have a score show up on here, what you have to do is you have to have at least a minimum of 3 rounds. And I'll show you that a little bit later on. So in order to manipulate this data system, before we do that, let's take a look at, we've got one panel that shows the lowest scores by each player, got another panel that shows lowest and highest and the differential, and we have a third panel that shows the overall stats on the course. So if you like statistics, this is kind of a neat little set of charts. So if we go back to our main panel right here, turn to the main page, we'll start by taking a look at individual player results. So all players in the database will have their name listed, and it'll show you their scores in reverse chronological order with their average raw score and what their average over or under par score is. We go back to the main page and get back to the main page. If you want to record scores, what you'll do is you'll get this page and you have to password in, and the default password is password. And when you log in, you have a choice of either entering new players or individual scores, or you can enter multiple players. So we'll start by, let's say that we have a round and we want to enter a new score for the French Connection. So what we'll do is we'll choose the date and put in his raw score. We'll say he shot a blazing 59. When we submit that, then we'll have, here's his score, 59 on 8/12/2011, and it'll record all this information and store it. If you need to edit that, if you got it wrong, you can edit it, change the value, do whatever you need to do. or we're going to just take that out. So we're going to remove that from the system. We'll see that score is gone. Now, you can also enter a new player. So say we have somebody shows up and they want to play. So we submit that, choose the date, let's say it's on the 14th, and enter the score. Let's say they shot a 64. And when we submit that, it tells us they need at least 3 rounds to establish their handicap, and we've started with their first round. So if we go back to our player selector page, we'll find out that the newbie guy now shows up in the list. So anytime that you want to enter somebody new, all you have to do is add it right here. And we're going to go ahead and get rid of this guy, and you'll see by deleting all scores you can get rid of the player. So there's no newbie guy in the list any longer. So let's go back to the main panel, and we're going to password in again. And let's say that you had 7 players play on a given day. So you can go in here and choose those 7 players, submit the query. It'll choose the date, so usually this is done the day of, so you'll come back to your computer and you'll enter the scores, and you'll put in their individual scores, and when you submit, they're all submitted at one time. Kind of handy, saves you a lot of time. So we'll go back, hit the main menu, and really the only other thing that we need to do is manage the site. And so in order to manage the site, the default username is admin, and the default password is also admin. These you'll want to change right away. And you'll see that it goes to the Manage Site Variables page. So let's say that your course rating is lower or higher than 54. You just change that value, do an update, and we're fine. I caution against deleting any of these values because they're used in the system. Course name, there you'll change your disc golf course name. You can change your course par, your club name, your rounds counted, and the rounds displayed. Now currently the rounds that it counts to do the calculation are 5 rounds. You can alter that, and the rounds that it displays are 20 rounds, but it stores all the rounds. So anytime that you want to see any player's scores, it'll show you every round that's ever been recorded. So eventually the next version of this will have a place where you can zero out all of them, or you can go in and delete them individually. So when we get back to the main page, all the information is displayed here. This is what you'd print, take out to the course with you. One last thing we need to talk about are your site managers. There's the admin, who can take care of everything. You probably want to change that password. And here's the manager, and that's the person that can enter scores. Now you can have as many managers as you want, so you might want to change the default password here too. So we're going to go ahead and log out, return to the main page, and go back to our splash page. And here we are back where we started. When we close the browser, what will happen is the whole system, the web server, will shut itself down. And if this is on a USB drive, you can go ahead and just pop your USB drive out. Now what this whole thing weighs in at right about 198 megabytes, and it's currently it fits on a 256 megabyte USB stick. Now you can also put it on a CD-ROM, but you can't save the scores unless you do some changing to the PMS config INI file. So the best thing to do is just run it off your hard drive to get used to it. If you want to put it on a USB stick, carry it with you. You can use it on any Windows-based computer.